No way. That was the vibe inside Texas Live when Golden Boy rolled out a press conference that felt less like a promo and more like a warning. One punch, they said, could end it all for either man. And that wasn't trash talk, that was the promoter admitting he's nervous. But before we get to the moment Erickson Lubin calls the poster disrespectful and promises to silence Fort Worth, let's slow burn this the right way. Because this card isn't just a main event, it's a pressure cooker. November 8th, Dickies Arena, WBC Interim Super Welterweight Gold on the line. Vergil Ortiz Jr., unbeaten and unforgiving, back home in Texas against a veteran who spent 12 years fighting the toughest names he could sign for. It's not a keep busy fight. It's not a stay sharp fight. It's the kind of fight where your next year either explodes or evaporates.
This is the fight game. This is boxing. If you want to be the best, you have to fight the best. And this is why I respect Lubin so much, Erickson Lubin, because not only is he the #1 contender in the world, okay? He's fought Charlo, he's fought the tough fights, he has the experience, but he has the confidence. He's coming into this fight knowing and thinking he's gonna win. That's a real fight there for you. So a lot's at stake. Vergil Ortiz wants to be a unified world champion. Lubin wants to be world champion. So a lot is at stake here.
You could feel it as Oscar De La Hoya praised the mindset on both sides and then casually dropped the line every matchmaker hates to think about. I'm only worried that one punch can end it all for either guy. He's not wrong. Erickson Lubin knows how one punch cuts both ways. He's tasted the worst of it KO'd and won by Jermell Charlo back in 2017, but he's also rebuilt, rewired, and, lately, he's been the one handing out heartbreak. This year, Lubin walked into an IBF eliminator and walked out a winner, stopping the 6'2" southpaw Ardreal Holmes Jr. in the 11th. That was a patience fight. Break him down, don't blink, and step on the gas when it matters. That win put the hammer right back where he's always insisted he belongs within touching distance of a world title.
First off, I want to thank God. You know, without him, I wouldn't be here. I fought for the world title in just my 3rd year. This is my 12th year as a pro. I took no steps back. I fought top opposition after top opposition. And Vergil Ortiz is no different. You know, he's another top fighter. This is my 3rd undefeated fighter in a row. And I'm looking to just, you know, become that dude at 154 pounds. I also want to give a big shout out to my daughter. It's her 4th birthday today. You know, it's the sacrifices we got to make. You know, being away from family, being away from, you know, their birthdays and stuff like that, you know, just so I could give them a better way of living. I want to give a big shout out to Gary Jonas. You know, that's one guy that believed in me from the beginning. You know, I've been with him since I was 17 years old, and I turned 30 next week, and I'm just excited. Vergil Ortiz is a great competitor, and I think the fans are in for a treat. So November 8th, it will be fireworks.
Meanwhile, Vergil Ortiz Jr. is already holding leverage. He took the interim WBC strap earlier this year by outworking Israel Madrimov, another elite operator, over 12 testing rounds on the Beterbiev Bivol 2 card in Riyadh. That victory wasn't a highlight reel wipeout, it was a maturation test. He started behind, dialed in the timing, then surged late. Judges had it close on 2 cards, wide on 1, but all 3 agreed. Ortiz keeps the belt and the 0. So what makes this clash dangerous? Lubin's combination of craft and bite against a pressure puncher who doesn't just come forward, he solves you while he's coming forward. That's what Ortiz himself said at the mic. Lubin's got experience, intellect, and power. Translation: you can't just walk him down and assume he breaks. You have to earn every second of control.
He's a dangerous fighter because he has intellect, he has experience, he has power. He likes to fight. I've seen his fights before. He legitimately goes in there to fight people, and I respect that about him. But he's also a smart fighter as well. So when you have both of those into the equation, you know, that's how you have a dangerous fighter.
And then there's the atmosphere. Home turf for Ortiz, Dallas-Fort Worth energy, the kind of crowd that turns combinations into thunderclaps. Lubin didn't flinch. He's been here before: hostile gyms, hostile arenas, prospects and champions, first-round disaster and quiet rebuild. When he says he's not making predictions, that's not hedging, That's a man who's learned the hard way what bold predictions don't do. They don't win exchanges.
I make no predictions. I know it's going to be a great fight. And all that matters to me is me walking out of the Dickies Arena with my hands raised and the fans silent.
All of this might have been enough drama on its own, but Golden Boy stacked the co-main with a storyline that could steal the oxygen from the room. Floyd Kid Austin Scofield versus former world champion and Olympian Jojo Diaz Jr. And the kid's last impression? 78 seconds. That's how long it took him to blow out Tevin Farmer in June. A clinical burst, 3 knockdowns, and a statement to the division that speed and timing can look like power when you never see the shot coming.
I've known Kid Austin for a while now, and he's the real deal. He's a great fighter. His last outcome, he fought Tevin Farmer, who a lot of people thought, oh my gosh, Tevin Farmer has too much experience. He went in with a world champion, went the distance, this and that. Well, guess what he did? Kid Austin knocked him out in what? Was it the first round? 1 minute and 38 seconds to be specific.
Scofield knows what's riding on Diaz. He said it himself. If he loses to a guy people are calling washed, where does he go? Brutal honesty, especially with a WBA no. One ranking next to his name and title, ambitions burning a hole through his calendar.
I feel like everything is, people are overlooking Jojo. They're saying he's washed. So, if we be real, if I lose to a guy like that, I don't know where I go from there. So everything rides off this fight, my ranking, my chance at the world title. So I'll definitely be coming in focused.
Jojo Diaz isn't interested in being a springboard. He's fought everyone, taken hard lessons, and if you believe him, rediscovered his hunger. He's dropping back to 135, promising the version of himself that used to take the initiative and refused to let go. Whether that version is still there is the question that sells tickets.
Yeah, I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited to be fighting Kid Austin. He's an undefeated fighter, ranked #1 right now in the world. And I know what I've been doing, man. I gave my life to Christ, and I've just been focused and determined and hungry again. I got that hunger and drive back. So I've been busting my ass. You guys seen it against Regis. I fought him at 140, but I gave him 2 pounds because he couldn't make the weight. And I felt like I did good. This fight, I'm going back down to 135, and I'm going to take back what's mine, take back the throne.
Back to the main event and to the slow turn of the screw that made this press conference stick. Oscar talked about Texas like a promise to a fan base starved for genuine risk. Then he said the quiet part loud. Champions at 154 are running from Vergil. Hyperbole? Maybe. But it's also how promoters create gravity. Say the thing, let the room react, and watch the stakes harden. Context matters.
It's not like every other world champion out there at 154 who is ducking, who is running, literally running from Vergil Ortiz. Every single champion at 154 is running from Vergil Ortiz. And you know what? You should be ashamed of your...
Ortiz is undefeated, 23-0 with a KO rate that looks like a typo. He thrives on acceleration once he lands clean. The next 30 seconds often decide the fight. But that last victory over Madrimov was about control, not carnage. That's why this matchup is fascinating. Can Lubin's disciplined southpaw counters and late-fight resilience blunt Vergil's second-half surge? Lubin's arc since the Charlo loss is instructive. He's beaten solid names, rebuilt confidence, and importantly stopped an undefeated, awkward, tall southpaw in Holmes. That's a data point you can use when you're game planning for an elite finisher like Ortiz. Stay organized, change rhythms, survive the runs, and cash late.
When we decided on Erickson Lubin to fight Vergil, I was like, wow. Erickson Lubin, he can possibly derail those plans that he had to fill up the arena in Dallas. Like, that's the opponent. I don't even want to say opponent. That's the fighter that Eric Lubin is. He's a tough.
Then came the bite. Near the end, Lubin looked at the event poster and called it disrespectful, his image fading in the shadows under a glow around Ortiz. Message received. He's not here to play the B-side. He's here to flip the room.
I do want to say this poster right here is a little disrespectful to me and my team. They got me somewhere in the dark somewhere. They got like Vergil as the moon all over me and stuff like that. But This is disrespectful. I don't like this right here. It's disrespectful to me and my brand, but November 8th, there will be fireworks. I want everybody to tune in, live on the Zone.
This is where the tension crystallizes. Vergil is the hometown star, the one many want to anoint as the new face of Mexican boxing. Even Oscar floated the idea, a changing of the guard, a new star who can carry the sport. That's a heavy crown to hold before the bell even rings.
So to speak.
Yeah, no, and first of all, I respect Canelo for his boxing abilities, obviously, but as a fighter, you have to respect that. But I truly feel that there has to be a changing of the guard. Yeah. I think that boxing right now needs a new star. Boxing needs somebody to carry the sport. And obviously, Vergil Ortiz has everything it takes to become that man. You know, and you can never look past.
What about styles on the night? Ortiz will try to compress the ring, jab to the chest, and force Lubin into exchanges after the minute mark of each round, where fatigue makes counters a beat slower. Lubin's key is the left hand from outside and the short left from mid-range when Ortiz squares to finish combinations. If Lubin can make Vergil reset after landing one, not three, he can stretch the fight into an 8-12 round chess match. That's where his Holmes finish methodical, not reckless starts to matter. Risk for Ortiz? Getting cute early. Madrimov showed you can ice his rhythm with feints and feet. If Vergil gives away too many early frames hunting the perfect shot, he creates scoreboard pressure he doesn't need. Conversely, risk for Lubin is the snowball. Once Vergil's crowd senses momentum, the rounds start to feel shorter and the exchanges start to feel longer. 1-9 Dav.
I'm very motivated. I want to win. I want to win good, looking good, and just being in the ring with the pedigree of someone like Erickson Lubin. You know, it just motivates me to train harder to actually want to come to the gym. You know, I've been in some fights where I'm fighting someone. I'm like, all right, let's just get this day over with. Now, with this fight, I look forward to the gym. I want to work hard. I want to do good in sparring.
As for the co-main, the question is durability versus dynamite. Scofield's confidence is sky high after Farmer, but Diaz has veteran pockets you can fall into and never quite climb out of. If the kid can cut the ring and vary speeds on the jab, he can make Diaz fight at his tempo. If Diaz can smother those first-step explosions and work the body, he can turn nervous energy into tired legs by round 7. And if Scofield does score early, remember, Farmer is a slickster with low power. Diaz, even faded, is stubborn and seasoned.
Hopefully Jojo can bounce back and do whatever he has to do, you know, to get right, because I will be victorious.
Can he handle your power? If you land one of those shots you landed against Farmer, what will happen to him?
I don't know. We got to wait and see. You know, people take punches differently, but like I said, Jojo's a warrior, and we'll see November 8th.
Here's what's really on the line. For Vergil Ortiz Jr., a win cements his claim as the guy at 154, while politics sort out the full title picture. For Lubin, it's a redemption arc that stops being a storyline and becomes a fact. Beat the unbeaten in his backyard, and you don't ask for a shot, you become the shot. For Scofield, it's proof that the Farmer Blitz wasn't a one-off, and that he belongs in the title queue at lightweight. For Jojo Diaz, it's survival and respect, two things fighters value even more than the belt when the road gets long.
Yeah, just shout out to the DFW and everyone around the world for continuing to support to the highs and the lows. Nothing much else to say. November 8th, we'll see you there. Thank you.
So, where does this go after the 2-3 minute mark we promised before giving you the reveal? It circles back to the press room electricity and that single flashpoint, disrespect. Posters don't win fights, but they do tell you who the room expects to win. Lubin isn't accepting that. He wants the silence. Ortiz wants the eruption. And Oscar, he just wants 12 rounds of war, but admits one punch could make a liar out of him.
I'm only worried that one punch can end it all in 1 minute.
For either guy.
'Cause I want to see 12 rounds of a war, you know? So, and that's what it's going to be.
Prediction? This isn't the place. But here's the map. If the fight is decided inside 6, it favors Ortiz by momentum. If it's decided after 8, it favors the man who's more disciplined with his feet, not his hands. Remember who stopped Holmes late, and remember who solved Madrimov late. Both men have closing speed. Only one will have closing power on the night. And for the co-main, if Scofield doesn't force volume in the first 3 rounds, Diaz will make him work for every clean look. If he does force it and still finds accuracy, you might hear the Farmer fight mentioned again before the post-fight presser is over. Your turn. Who quiets the room in Fort Worth? Vergil Ortiz Jr. with a statement that pushes him toward full championship status, or Erickson Lubin with the kind of road win that changes the way everyone says his name? And on the co-main, does Kid Austin keep the knockout drumbeat going, or does Jojo Diaz pull veteran rank and drag him into deep water? Drop your picks below and tell me which round you think turns the whole night.